such a prestigious group to explain the experience with the Divine Nine and HBCUs, so that our students have an awareness of maybe the foundation of the Divine Nines. There's a very short video. If you are able to click on the link, I think it's about 2 or 3 minutes long, and it's just an overview of the history of how this group was formed. If you're able to play that, it could be helpful. I think the video may play back better if everybody mutes and turns off their cameras, though.
We represent
For more than a century, Black Greek organizations have made their voices heard on college campuses and in communities across the country.
Well, the founders of these organizations, they understood that the pathway forward for us was together through unity.
House Democratic Caucus Chair Hakeem Jeffries joined Kappa Alpha Psi fraternity at the age of 18.
And it really was the first time in my life that anyone of importance and authority suggested to me that they saw some leadership qualities and attributes within me, and it's a moment that I've never forgotten.
Moments like that, shared by many in the Divine Nine, the 9 Black sororities and fraternities that comprise the National Panhellenic Council. Vice President Kamala Harris has been outspoken about the impact her sorority has had on her.
And along the way, you find people who help you become your true self. For me, that was my beloved Alpha Kappa Alpha sisters.
In an election cycle marked by historic firsts, it's hard to ignore the role these organizations have played. Georgia elected its first Black senator, and America sent a Black woman to the White House, both members of the Divine Nine.
When I look at what Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated and other members of the Divine Nine are doing now, we're seeing that they are dedicated to voter education, mobilization, and participation. We're also seeing that even during a pandemic, the service never stops.
Groundbreakers and trailblazers have always, in so many different ways, been connected to the Black fraternity and sorority organizations, including the great Shirley Chisholm, who was a proud member of the Delta Sigma Theta sorority.
I have always been a catalyst for change.
The founders of these organizations, while they perhaps could never have envisioned that one day we would ascend to the highest levels of power and authority in the land, including within the Congress and now the White House, but I certainly know they dreamed it and believed that they were laying a foundation for great things to occur.
But because of my HBCU and Divine Nine family, I know I'm never the only person who looks like me or has had my life experiences.
Even today, we are 113 years after our founding. That is a strong legacy, and we're still able to see the ways in which the United States does not treat all of its citizens equally. Have they gotten better? Definitely. They have definitely improved from where they were 113 years ago. But can they be improved? Also, yes. We are passionate about the same issues within our communities, within the world at large, and we work together in order to achieve common goals. And if that isn't family, I don't know what is.
A family that will remain rooted behind members as they embark on their barrier-breaking journeys.
Hey, NBC News viewers, thanks for checking out our YouTube channel. Subscribe by clicking on that button down here.
We represent
Can you unmute, Mrs. White?
Okay. Do you want to go ahead and start with our presenters?
Absolutely.
Okay, so I'm going to go in divine order. And I'm going to see, is Mr. Luke on the call? So I started with Alpha Phi Alpha because they were the first founded. They're not on the call. So then I'm going to go with Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated. If you would share your HBCU experience and tell a little bit about your organization.
Okay. Greetings, everyone. So I'm Katrina Carter Journay again to introduce myself, and I'm a proud member of Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated. We were founded January 15th, 1908, and the idea it is by service and culture that we go out and we serve the community to uplift women and to bring them into this new frontier. So over 115 years of service that we have put out there. As a HBCU graduate, I came from Southern University and A&M College in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, which is actually my hometown. So I am from Louisiana, and it was literally 10 or 15 minutes up the street from where I went to school. And I'll tell you, there's nothing like being on a HBCU. So back then you call it the yard. And on the yard, you had the Human Jukebox, and that was the best band out there. You had Bayou Classic with Grambling versus Southern. You had the dancing dolls, you had the step shows, you had the Greeks, and you had teachers that knew your name. If I was failing a class or I didn't have a good grade in something, there was a professor waiting and knew my schedule. And so your schedule says you're free from this time to this time. I want you in my office every day until this grade goes back up. And that's just something that you don't get at other types of universities and schools. That is the experience when you go to an HBCU, that you're not just a person, just attending class. You are a person with a name, a face, and they're invested in you in a way that you've never seen before. And of course, being surrounded by all of your Divine Nine, it doesn't get any better than that.
Thank you very, very much. And I'm going to go out there. And I'm just going from fraternity to sorority, y'all. Next, I am going to bring up Omega Psi Phi, which is Nate Jones. Let me find you. Start talking.
I'm here. I'm here.
Okay, I got to
All right.
find you on my screen. Okay, start talking, Mr. Jones. There
Cool.
you go. Thank you.
All right.
Found
Hi,
you.
everybody. Glad to be here. My name is Nathan Jones. I graduated from Morgan State University back in 2008. While I was there, I was initiated into Pi chapter of the Omega Sci-Fi Fraternity Incorporated. I was born and raised in Connecticut, a small town in New Britain, Connecticut. It wasn't a predominantly Black community, but it was a diverse community. You know, people from all over the world. But I never really had just a purely Black experience. So I knew going out of high school, I wanted to go to a predominantly Black school, in particular, a historical Black college or university. And I settled on Morgan State because, my mother's side of the family resides in Maryland. I took many trips down there. So, I go to Morgan State and I'm surrounded by everyone that looks like me, and they come from all over the world, not just the country, but all over the world. And they all bring a different type of, a spin to, their culture and how they contribute to our culture. So, while I was at Morgan State, you see all these Greek organizations, they're doing great things on the yard, throughout the community. But there was one organization that always stood out, and that was Omega Sci-Fi, and I remember, doing research on that organization, and I went to school for engineering. I'm currently an avionics system engineer at Lockheed Martin out here in Antelope Valley. And back then I was fascinated with everything science and engineering related. And come to find out, the first, the second, the third, and the fourth Black African American astronauts were all members of Omega Sci-Fi. And I was just absolutely blown away by that. And it's really, the ideals of our fraternity of manhood, scholarship, perseverance, and uplift, and and how our organization um, strives to be high achievers. So I was always attracted to that, and eventually I was initiated into the into the chapter, and and beyond that, I'm doing things for the fraternity out here in the community. But that really, joining the Pi chapter really added to my experience, my college life. Outside of just academics, but socially. So, um, if if you're looking for the type of experience that's um, I will say this: a lot of HBCUs nowadays are actually a bit more diverse than what you would think. I went back to Morgan State, and there's actually quite a few Asians there, and even Europeans. Um, so it's even more diverse now than it was back when I was there. So if you want like a more, I think, more well-rounded experience, especially within the Black culture, I think an HBCU is the route to go. So yeah.
Thank you, Mr. Jones. Thank you. Okay, going on next, we have Miss D. Wire for Delta Sigma Theta.
Thank you and greetings, everyone. So my name is Dee Wire, and I teach here with the Antelope Valley High School District. I'm at Soror High School, Palmdale campus. I am a Delta, and so I'm sure some of you guys have that question, what is a Delta? So a Delta is a woman who is committed to sisterhood, scholarship, service, and social action. Delta Sigma Theta was founded January 13th, 1913 by 22 collegiate women at Howard University. We have more than 300,000 initiated members and over 1,000 chartered chapters worldwide. So my experience with college, I graduated from Grambling State University. Let me say that again, Grambling State University. Where I scholarship for tennis. I played 4 years of college tennis. I was also an athletic trainer at Grambling. So I worked with all the sport teams. Being in the, my major was health and physical education, and my minor was health education and administration. But I would say being a part of the athletic training program, sports medicine program at Grambling, I was able to be exposed to a lot of the student body. It was a phenomenal experience. It was nice going to school and seeing people all around the community that look like me. I was born and raised here in the Antelope Valley. So, coming from a very, I feel it was diverse. I went to school out in Little Rock, and so we had a pretty good mixture of nationalities in the Little Rock area. So going to Grambling was a great experience. I loved it. I was made there at Grambling State University, Delta Iota chapter. And so, yeah. Oh, and grades were important. Let me just say that I forgot all the educational part. But yes, the educational side of things was phenomenal because, as one of the speakers said before, being in a smaller class setting, you got to know your professors, you got to know the administration in the school. And so it was just a phenomenal experience, being able to go to the football games, basketball games. It didn't matter what sport it was like always exciting. So, yeah.
Okay. Thank you very much, Ms. Wire. And next we have Ron Wilson with Kappa Alpha Psi Fraternity Incorporated. And he did correct me. I put his school wrong. So let me make sure I get his school correct. It is not Alabama State. It is Alabama A&M University. Mr. Wilson, where you at? So I can pin you. Say something.
I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yes.
All righty. So I almost hung up when I saw that because that was a slap in the face, by putting that weird behind school next to my name. But because Alabama State was my rival, I went to Alabama. I'm a graduate of Alabama A&M University. I'm sorry, I'm just jumping on a little late. Are we just doing introductions? Or are we giving
Yeah, you're
overview?
just telling, you got 1 minute to discuss your quick snippet of your college experience and about Kappa Alpha Psi Fraternity Incorporated. You got 1.5 minutes.
Let's go. All right, so went to Alabama A&M University, is part of the SWAC. I'm on a football scholarship. I had many opportunities to go to other schools to play football. I chose Alabama A&M mainly because of the living facilities, to be honest with you. They had some of the best dorms compared to the other schools I was looking at. There's nothing like having your own bathroom in your room, so that was pretty dope for me. That was important. But as far as the environment goes, it was very similar to the same one I grew up in. I'm from Mobile, Alabama, Pritchard to be exact. So all the schools I pretty much went to were predominantly Black. So when I did go there on official visits and things like that, I was extremely comfortable. I actually double majored in biology and secondary education. I knew I kind of wanted to be a coach and a science teacher. So that was my major coming out of college. I led it all 4 years of school. I met some of my best friends that we're still best friends today. Like some of the people said, yeah, you're going to get that small class environment where the teachers will know you. You're not just kind of swallowed up by the amount of people that's on your campus. Everybody that's there look like you, think like you, act like you, which is pretty dope. So you don't stand out in, kind of like some of the other ways we may stand out when we're a minority. Like I tell a lot of students, that's one of the few times or few chances they'll ever have to be part of the majority by going to an HBCU. Otherwise, once you're in the real world, unless you live in certain cities, then you're going to be a minority and then kind of you got to carry all that weight on your shoulders. I am a member of Kappa Alpha Psi. I came through, I did alumni chapter with Lancaster Palmdale alumni chapter. By the time I finished football at A&M, I played 5 years of arena football. So, and then I kind of came back to Kappa. But it's one of the greatest decisions I've ever made as well. Our fraternity is all about achievement, and I live and die by that. Everything that I put my name on is all about achievement. I want to set goals and achieve them. It's not all about, and it's in any human endeavor. So it don't matter what field that you're in, it's all about, taking that chance you got and maximizing as best as possible and becoming successful with it. Is my time up or can I keep going?
That's 1.5 minutes. You done. Thank you, sir.
All right. Hey, I should get an extra time since you put Alabama State next to me.
No, you done. Okay, next, I'm going to actually hop over to Mr. Robert Vaughn, because I know he's set on a time schedule with Phi Beta Sigma Fraternity Incorporated. Can you say something so I can pin you?
Hello. Can you hear me? Okay.
There you go. Yes.
Hello, everybody. Happy to be here. Thanks for the invite. Just quickly, to be honest, when I was in high school, I had never heard of Black colleges or fraternities, sororities, none of that. And while I was in high school, a play cousin, everybody has a play cousin somewhere, right? So a play cousin had heard about this program there's one at Morehouse and then one at Spelman. And so in the summer between 11th and 12th grade, she went to Spelman, I went to Morehouse for this summer program where we took a class, and I just fell in love with the idea of going to a Black college. And that major, Black universities that you can attend. And so Tuskegee was definitely on that list of aerospace institutions where I can earn an aerospace engineering degree, and that's how I ended up there. And it was a great experience. But to be honest, being from California, being from Los Angeles, no, it was a rough first year for me. Just it was just so different. Just the culture shock was just so different. But like everyone said, the class sizes are small. The relationships, you can build very strong relationships over time with people there, and with your teachers. And it turned out to be a really great experience. And I'm so glad that I chose that route. And just like someone else mentioned, the idea of you being in the majority, this will, I work in the aerospace industry now, and every company I've worked at, I've been one of about 5. Especially if I'm working out in companies I worked out in Orange County, it's always less than 5 African Americans working there. And so I've always been in the minority just throughout my career. But being at Tuskegee was an opportunity to be in the majority, not just for just to say I'm in the majority. What it did for me is honestly it just takes away an excuse. It takes away when you're doing what you're doing in school and you're having challenges and bumps in the road. It just takes away an excuse that somebody doesn't like me or because of my color or anything. It just takes that excuse away, and it encouraged me to work harder and do what I need to do, and really just to take responsibility for things that were happening to me as I was going through college, and that throughout my career, excuse happen, even to just push through that. So it was very helpful in that part. I remember the fraternity in spring of 1990.
I think, Robert, you're in a bad area. Am I the only one getting
It's
broken
been
up?
a great
Okay, say something now, Robert.
experience. Hello?
I think we got a bad. Can you all still hear Robert?
Hello?
Okay. Robert, we were getting a bad connection for you toward the end of Phi Beta Sigma part. Yes, can you hear us? Robert? I think Robert has a bad connection. Okay, for the sake of time, hopefully Robert can pop back on. I'm going to go over to, is it Nolani?
Nolani, yes.
No. Okay, yeah. You still can't hear me? Okay.
Kind of, sort of. Keep going. Let's see. Robert? Okay. Nolani, we're going to let you go ahead and start. We have Nolani. She is a member of Zeta Phi Beta Sorority Incorporated. Nolani also attended, which school did you attend, Nolani? I'm sorry.
I attended Grambling State University.
Grambling. Okay, I was ready to say you attended Grambling. I forgot. Yeah, Grambling
Yes.
State University. Go ahead. You got your minute and a half.
Okay. Hello, everyone. Again, my name is Noelani Casey, and I attended Grambling State University, and that's where I joined the finest sorority, Zeta Phi Beta Sorority Incorporated, in fall of 21. And I would say my HBCU experience has been amazing, and I wouldn't change it for anything. For me, I chose HBCU because I felt comfortable and I wanted to go somewhere where it felt like home. I wanted to attend a school where people look like me and I wouldn't feel uncomfortable for looking like me. Around my junior year, senior year, when I was touring colleges, I toured other colleges and it was just a little uncomfortable being the only African American walking around on campus. And that just wasn't something that I wanted. So that's when I started to look into HBCUs and schools that were majority of African American students so that I could be away from home, but still feel like I'm at home and still have that family presence. Attending HBCU, it is amazing. The classes are smaller. We are more of a big family. We are on the yard almost every day. We're in the cafeteria almost every day. We're playing soulful music in the cafeteria. We're dancing together. We're having fun together. And that's just the students. Once I joined the D9, it was even better because then you have another family. So you just have families within families. So I can honestly say that as a senior in high school, or if you're just in high school and you're thinking about joining any D9 org or thinking about going to an HBCU, I would definitely encourage you to look further into that because both are great opportunities and you won't regret it.
Okay. Thank you, Nalani. I'm going to circle back because I saw Mr. Luke on the line. Mr. Luke, are you back on the line?
Yes, I'm back here. Can you hear me good?
Yes, I need to find you so I can tag you. There you go. Okay, Mr. Luke is from Howard University, and he is a member of Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated.
Good afternoon, everyone. I apologize. Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can hear you.
All right. Apologize for being late. Was coming out of a meeting at work. But yes, I'm Gerald Luke, member of Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated, the oldest and the coldest, the first fraternity, Black Greek letter organization founded on a college campus in 1906. Those also cold brothers. But I'm a graduate and alumni of the Mecca, Howard University, and I really loved my HBCU experience. I decided to go to an HBCU, particularly Howard, because in high school, I grew up in LA. I grew up in the avenues in LA, down the street from Crenshaw High School. But I had two different realities in my life. I went to high school at Loyola High School, which is a rich white boy high school. So going through 4 years there, I only applied to two colleges, and I don't advise that to anyone looking to go to college on this call. Applied to more, but I applied to Cal Berkeley, UC Berkeley, and I applied to Howard, and I got into both of them. However, remember I said I went to Loyola, rich white boys, and I said I don't know if I want to go to Berkeley because when I found out that Howard had an 8-to-1 girls to guys ratio, that made my decision.
You are not supposed to tell them that, Mr. Luke.
I'm being honest. I'm not gonna sugarcoat it.
Y'all didn't hear that, guys. Guys, you did not hear that stat.
Just understand that as far as just your certain things drive you certain ways, and sometimes not so good things drive you into directions that are good. And so it was a great decision because Berkeley is a great school also, but I went to Howard knowing that I was going to get an education on a high level with people that look like me, which I got a good education in high school, but that was one of the challenges. So going to Howard, one thing I want to say real quickly is that at Berkeley, I would have gotten an education, say, for example, in English, certain standards that you get in college, and they teach it from what they consider the dominant culture. Like in English, I would have gotten Shakespeare and Frost and all of those authors. But at Howard, I was able to hit the same standards, get the same instruction, but it was brought across through the content of people that looked like me, like James Baldwin and Ralph Ellison, Zora Neale Hurston. So that's one aspect too, the curricular aspect that you receive at an HBCU, which is unique to going to a PWI. And then the whole thing about going to an HBCU and getting your education and connecting. I would say it's easier to connect at an HBCU because you're in an environment that's more of um, um, a protection, if you will, for you, as opposed to some other schools. And that's just my experience. I think that was very important. So when you decide on going to college, strongly consider an HBCU because of the level um, of connection, the level of instruction. Great things are happening at HBCUs. We're in a time like that. So it's powerful and very important. I'm now Director of Access and Equity for African American Student Achievement in the Palmdale School District. And I owe even getting to this level, I owe part of that to my experience at an HBCU because it helped me to come out confident because I was insulated in that environment where I could learn, not worry about a lot of things that others are learning when they go to higher education. And so I was able to walk with confidence. Howard teaches you that to be confident. Um, the D9 teaches you that to be confident. You also receive the benefit of a powerful network. So I heard
Uh-oh. Mr. Luke, I think we're losing you. Mr. Luke, can you hear me?
That's it.
Okay. I'm going to click. That's it. Okay. We were losing you. Okay. So I think outside of me, I think I got all of our D9. So it says D9, but we only had 8 representatives here today. I marked the 8. I am a member of Sigma Gamma Rho Sorority Incorporated. I am the baby of the sororities. We just celebrated 100 years in 2022 of existence. I went to Palmdale High School, like a lot of you. I went to Palmdale High School, had no knowledge of a HBCU or college for that matter. I came from a huge family, but no one had went to college. And my track coach said, hey, you need to go to Langston, to me and my best friend. And we were like, what are you talking about? We had no idea. We hopped in my little Ford Festiva and hopped on I-40, didn't know where we were going. And ended up, and when I say our parents didn't take us, like when I took my daughter to school, we did a college visit and all that. Oh no, none of that happened. Our parents loaded us up on Palmdale Boulevard in my little Tinker Toy car, and we hopped on I-40 and went to Oklahoma. When I say that was the best decision we ever made, both of us, she and I both know, if we hadn't made that decision, who knows where we would be right now. So you really, I know a lot of you, and I talk to some of my students, you're afraid to take that step out. You're stronger than what you realize. You got more in you than what you realize. And when you just take that step out, you've heard everybody on this call talk about going to a family, feeling like you're at home. You're going to step into a whole new family and a whole new world that you didn't even know existed. So really do your research. Think about going to a HBCU because it is a wonderful experience. Okay. And then, like they said, you wrap into the D9. It's a wonderful connection where you might hear us talk noise all the time, all the sororities, but there's love there. There's love there. I tease Delta Sigma Theta all the time. My best friend is a Delta Sigma Theta. So we have that connection, even though we all want to say our organization is the best. I'm going to say my organization is the best from here to, because to me, I joined the best. Just like everyone on this call said they joined the best, but there's still love there. We still come together as a community. We come together to work together. We all have the same principles. When you get on those college campuses, you're going to look at the organization that draws you in, that you see that you fit in the best. Okay. So don't worry about, just know that we're here. Just know that the fraternities and sororities are here, and you're going to have your pick when you get to that campus. Okay. Ms. Pineda?
Yes, ma'am.
And I know we have some other D9 on the call, but we are stressed for time. So I'm going to toss it over to
No,
you, and then
for
you have
sure.
at it.
I want to honor our guest time for being able to share their experiences, and so whoever is able to stay on the call, you would be able to go into some smaller groups, because our students probably want to dig in and ask some more about your experiences. Speaking of stepping into this unique opportunity, one of our schools, BSU's, Lancaster BSU, has an idea for us to come together. And so I would ask if Mr. Brown, if you are on the call, if you could present what Lancaster BSU has in mind as far as Black History Month. Just I know you have just a minute to talk about that, and then if students are interested, they can drop that link, or you can have them respond to the link. And Mrs. White, that is on slide number 5. And then right after that, Mrs. Barlow, if you are still on the call and can open up the breakout groups, we can have that time with our speakers and students.
Thank you for that, Ms. Pineda. Really quick, my name is Colin Brown from Lancaster High School. And thinking about Black History Month and knowing how much all of the sites have made this concentrated effort to make, get BSU the acknowledgement it deserves and really just get together and enjoy each other and our culture and the things that we have to offer. Lancaster BSU had the idea to do an invitational step show during lunch. We got the idea after Hispanic Heritage Month passed, and another site, Eastside High School, I believe, one of their clubs was able to come to our school and perform a traditional dance during our lunch period. And the kids loved it. It was an amazing time. And I was thinking to myself, knowing that some of the other sites have step teams, how awesome it would be just to have like a small showcase during the lunch period that would be very similar to the HBCU experience of Steppers on the Yard. So what we were thinking is just having 4 schools at most just come to our site, or 3 schools at most come to our site, have like a 3 or 4 minute step presentation put together. You will perform during the lunch period. Our kids absolutely get involved. There'll be music and, the whole nine. But it wouldn't be like a pep rally situation. It would be, more condensed, having kids right there able to interact, your students interacting with ours. To all of the advisors, please know that I am aiming for this to be a no headache event, to where I've taken care of everything and all that you have to do is just submit the paperwork to your secretary. But everything will be taken care of as far as justifications and all of that. So there's no work for you advisors to do on your side other than make sure that your team is ready to go the day of. If any of you all are interested as a site, what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to put a link in the chat. And the link is simply just an interest link. This is nothing that has to happen. There's no pressure for anybody to feel like we got to make this happen. It's just a cool idea that I thought our district could really benefit from. So all I'm trying to do right now is see what the interest is. The tentative date would be Friday, February the 17th. It would be the 3rd Friday of the month of February. And if your site is interested, just know you will be coming together as a group. So it's not an individual just stepping from their school, but your school step team. But I just want to see what the interest would be. If it doesn't look like I can get 3 sites, that's perfectly fine. I'm more than happy with just one site if they want to come and have an extended period of time to do so. But I really think it will be a great experience for our kids. So if you're interested, fill that link out for me. Let me know your name, what site you're from. If you're interested in doing it's just a simple yes or no, and then do you think that you'd have enough time to put something together in 2 or 3 weeks? Just yes or no. But fill that out for me, and hopefully we can do this for each other and have just one more event where we can celebrate each other in the month of February. Thank you so much.
All right, wonderful. Thank you, Mr. Brown. And so with the time that we have, if we could take maybe the next 10 or 15 minutes in the small breakout groups with our speakers that are able to stay on the call, you'll have speakers, advisors, and students in those discussions. And so anything that comes up about the importance of HBCUs and the Greek organizations is valuable for our students. We will be attending the Black College Expo on Saturday. So this will give them an opportunity to go into that with a more informed view of what this is about. I'm not sure which advisor is able to open up the breakout groups, but if you go to the activities tab, Mrs. Barlow or Mrs. Dawes or Mr. Patterson, you should be able to open it up for us. And there was also a link in the chat that our speakers could take a look at regarding kind of some of the topics that our students might want to touch upon for HBCUs.
So I don't have that access. Do you, Ms. White?
I don't have that access.
I have access. I can do that. I just not sure. Like I could ensure every. I'm just checking right now to make sure there won't be any empty groups. So it looks like I think it's good as it is. And then if somebody doesn't get it, it gets in a room and it doesn't work out, just come back here. All right, I'm gonna click for them to open now.
So the guests, you're going into the breakout room with the students to answer questions.
Where are the questions, the pre-questions? Okay. I did something. Can someone put me back in a breakout room? I did something wrong. I don't know.
Yeah, give me 1 second. Just
And then the LCAC gyms, that's a Delta. That's Miss Sands. But she was there. She went some.
Okay. Did you get an assignment yet?
I did, and then I clicked on something wrong. And now I can't get back in.
Okay, I'm gonna take you. Let me see. Let me see. Let me move you and see if it works. Okay, did you get one now?
Oh, join. Yep, got it.
Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
So, Mrs. White, is this the end of the presentation? Oh, okay.
I am. I'm the host, but I'm not the host.
Okay. Well, maybe there's more like school BSU stuff.
Yeah, I don't know.
So, Mr. Thomas, you're a student at Palmdale, right?
Yes.
Yep. Palmdale. Your Falcon blood runs deep. I graduated from Palmdale as well, so.
PHS,
Yeah.
PHS. Yep.
Do you know Mrs. Childs by chance?
Miss who?
Mrs. Childs.
Charles.
I met her. I don't really know her, but I met her.
Yeah,
The BSU advisor?
Yeah, she said she graduated from PHS too.
Yeah, I know. The BSU advisor. Yeah.
She
I think I had.
I think she was probably after me, huh? Way after me.
I'm
Is
not
she?
sure.
Is she that young?
Is she? I don't know.
Oh, Penny, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, she is. Yeah, she was probably after you. Not way after you, though.
But I probably was already gone.
Yeah, you were gone now, probably.
Yeah. She was telling us the stories about it and things like that.
Oh, PHS. P-Dale. We said P-Dale. P-Dale's
It was the
house.
Dale. It was the
Yes, the Dale
Yeah.
to P-Dale.
They still there.
Have a lots of traditions from the Dale.
Absolutely.
That just goes to show you could do a lot of great things coming from Palmdale.
Yep.
Yeah. At first I didn't
Sky's the
believe
limit.
it until I see it now.
Yeah, you can see he'll do a lot of great things.
A lot of people don't like to claim being from out here, but I tell people all the time, it's not, where you're from, it's where you're at.
Right.
But we've had a lot of great success come from this Antelope Valley. People
Yeah.
are doing good things and big things. So never be ashamed of, where you're from.
See, and it's funny that you say that because at first I used to be one of the people. I used to be like, dang, I don't want to tell people I graduated from here. It's too ghetto. It's too this, it's too that. But now as I see it as a senior, I'm just like, it's not even that bad because half the time, 70% out of 30, you make a success out of it, So it's not nothing to be ashamed of, really. It's just something you just see,
Yeah. And hey, Noe.
Hey.
When you first came on, I was like, is that Noe? That's Noe.
When I joined, I said, oh my gosh.
Yes. It's that Graham fam in the house.
Yes, I love to see it.
Yep. I was trying to get Tierra to log on, but she was at an event, AIDS awareness event.
Oh, she told me. I was like, oh, I hate that.
Yeah. So, Miss White, I'm going to log off.
Okay.
I got to be somewhere.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you very much.
And see, and the calls have started. All right, you guys take care.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, bye.
I don't know when they are set to come back. Let me find out. I don't know.
Nolani, I think that's her name.
Yes.
Am I saying it right?
Yes, you did.
Okay. By chance, do you know the twins, the Michaela?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
Because they went to Palmdale, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, when you said Gremlin, I immediately thought of them because they love Gremlin.
Oh, I'm so glad they love it. I'm glad. Because I know for us coming from the AV going all the way to Graham, it's a little bit different. But the school itself it's a good school.
Yeah, and you see, and it's funny. Now that you mention it, by chance, you know are you familiar with the Black Common application?
Yes, I think I actually had used that my senior year.
Okay, so it's funny because I had added Gremlin to one of the colleges to apply to, but I haven't received nothing in the emails or mail regarding it.
I would say check up with them because one thing I'm going to tell you now with HBCUs, as you're going to learn, when it comes to emails and calls, they tend to be a little behind.
Oh, I know.
I would say maybe give them a call, but usually if you call the office, they're pretty good with answering or trying to get back to you.
Okay, now since it hasn't been sent to the school yet, should I still contact the school or?
Yeah, you can still contact the school and just let them know, you applied through the, Common App and just that, you're waiting, and they'll let you know, okay, well, you should expect something within, these amount of days. And then that way you'll have, at least a timeline to when you can start checking your email.
Okay. Okay, thank you. I appreciate that.
No problem.
I think that was all my questions for you.
Got some good questions there. See? All of that. Anybody else have some questions? Hey, Jayla Patterson.
Hey, Denicia. I
Hi,
just
how are
chatted
you?
with Jayla, and we were talking about money and what
Oh, okay.
happens when you take out all of these loans and the interest. So maybe if some of the other participants can talk about not taking out all those loans, what are your pathways to get there? You go to community college, cut your costs, and transfer to university. What money might be out there as far as scholarships that she can
You
apply to.
definitely want to go to FastWeb, and FastWeb has tons of scholarships. I tell my students all the time, loans should be your last resort. Your last resort. Now, if it's the difference between you going to school and not going to school, you take them out. But loans should be your very last resort. Okay, you have scholarships, you have grants, you have work study. Okay, you have all kind of means of free money. Go to those schools you're going to, their financial aid office, they have scholarships posted for their schools. Okay, they have scholarships. All you have to do is apply. Yeah, they have scholarships for left-handed. Go to FastWeb. Actually, all of you should have a Going Merry account. And in that Going Merry account, when you submitted your FAFSA, you also set up for scholarships, and it was asking you all kind of information about yourself so that they can match you up with scholarships. You will need to make sure you do that. So, because they're going to start sending you emails and saying, this scholarship's available, that scholarship's available. Apply for scholarships. And a lot of times, all you got to do is write about your life and submit that college and submit that scholarship application. That's free money. That's like me walking up to you, handing you, hey, I got this $5,000 right here. You think you want? You be like, nah, I'm good. I don't want that.
And they don't have to have perfect grades. It doesn't have to be a 4.0.
Nope. A lot of them will tell you the requirements. So when you pop on and you look, if you see you got the requirements, you apply for it. If you don't have the requirements, you be like, okay, not that one, and move on. Okay, especially if it's the difference between you getting to the school you want to get to and not get to. Okay, you definitely want that.
Hi, everyone. I have to log off, but can I say one quick thing before I do, if that's okay with you?
Sure. Yes.
It just popped in my head, but one of the things that I remember about being at Tuskegee is that was the job fairs. They had corporate America loved coming to Tuskegee, and I'm sure they went to all the HBCUs recruiting for internships and co-ops and employment. And I thought it was a great. There's great opportunities there. You're down there. You're doing what you need to do as far as your grades, and people are looking for you. And corporate America comes to HBCUs looking for people to work at their companies, and these are some big companies that come down there.
Exactly. They do all the time. Recruiting.
And we don't trade our credit score for T-shirts or swag.
I was just, you know what, I was just ready to say that on the HBCU campuses, they have a lot of tabling going on, having you apply for all these wonderful credit cards. Don't do it. Don't do it.
I echo that. Don't do it.
I would let my daughter get one. She was like, "Mom, can I get?" No, you can. You may not. Do not get a credit card. Not a one. Not a one. Not a one.
When my daughter went to FIST, she called me. She was like, "I can apply for a credit card." I said, "No, ma'am. No, you may not."
And I'm telling you this from experience, y'all, because I was that one. I think me and my ex-husband at the time, when we graduated, we both graduated. I think between the two of us, we had about 10 credit cards. Because they kept saying here, we didn't know. Nobody never told us. We didn't know. And they was like, here, fill out this application. You get a credit card. Okay. Here, fill out this application. Okay. And then we walked away and we had all these credit. We were in debt. And we had to work our way out of debt. So don't do it.
So like, this is your time to really think about saving money, looking at scholarships, looking at grants, making sure you have a checking account open, a savings account. So the things that I wish I knew was financial intelligence in high school. So take advantage of the time with your counselors and make sure that you get really savvy on saving, your credit score, scholarships, grants, any opportunities to save and make money and make your money work for you.
I don't know. I don't know who has access to in the rooms, but I don't. Elizabeth said they should need to be ending, but I don't know how to bring anyone back.
Okay, I just messaged some of the kids. I think they're telling each other.
Okay, to come back. Okay.
Okay, perfect. I was gonna ask, I think Mrs. Barlow was probably in one of the meetings. If Mrs. White, if you're able to show slide 11, because I'm pretty sure we had a great conversation in our breakout, that there might be a few students or advisors that want to share some insight from what they gathered with
Okay.
the Divine Nine on the call.
Let's see. Let me go back to my tab. You know, I'm learning this. Okay.
No problem. And thank you for hosting as well.
Oh, my pleasure. Okay, which slide?
I'm sorry, it was number 11.
Number 11. Okay.
Okay, it was one back. Maybe it was 10.
One back. Okay. Reflect.
Right. So how should we, students, advisors, mentors, as an organization, how do we continue to promote unity and celebrate Black history with the focus of coming together the way that we've seen with the guest speakers and with the HBCU information? Did anyone talk about anything in their breakout group that they would want to share?
I talked to the students about career planning. So what's your map look like? Not being rigid, being flexible. And I talked to them about money and planning and scholarships and, just empowering them to dream big.
We talked about um, choosing their HBCUs and also doing their research when they think they want to join um, a Greek letter organization and what that should look like. Well, not what that should look like, but just doing their research. And scholarships, and not to take out a bunch of credit cards when you're at the HBCUs and they have the little tables offering credit cards. Don't get all those credit cards. That's what we talked about.
Well, in our group, we talked about really kind of promoting HBCUs in the same way other schools are promoted, you know, the Cal States and the UCs and, you know, all these other private schools and AVC, right? So as much as kids are hearing about the other schools, they also need to hear that there is, you know, HBCUs, especially since, you know, based off of what people shared today, some people in high school, they never even heard of them, you know, and so we
Mhm.
take it for granted that maybe at this point everyone has, but you know, it's still very possible that, you know, our students haven't.
And that's a really good possibility because the first HBCU, the closest HBCU, or big HBCU anyway, to California is in Oklahoma. Oklahoma and Texas starts the HBCU, and then they go back south and east and that way. So in California, we don't hear a lot about, especially growing up, we don't hear a whole lot about HBCUs. We didn't, unless you had family members or someone that you knew came from that environment, you didn't hear a whole lot about it. And you would think in 2023 there would be a lot more about it, but you don't. You don't hear about it.
I also think it would be good to share the history that, you know, there was a time when if you were African American and you wanted to get an education, you had no choice except to go
Mhm.
to an HBCU. And so by making that choice voluntarily, you're also honoring the people who pioneered and, you know, paved that way.
Exactly. I know a lot of people, and us as adults, we have to be able to explain because a lot of our non-African American counterparts or people, they ask, well, why do you have to have Black this and why do you have to have HBCUs? And I always explain to people, it's not that we didn't create it because we wanted to have our own. We had to create our own. We had to create our own because we weren't allowed to be a part of it. So now that we have it, and now things are integrated, we're not going to just say, oh, okay, well, now we're integrated now, so now we don't need this. No, that's our history, and those are things that we've created. So HBCUs weren't created because we wanted to be separated. Okay, they were created because those were our choices. That's what we had to do.
I know
I,
from a
I think
district perspective. Go ahead, Coach.
you should go ahead. I'll go after you.
Yeah, we were just kind of talking. Coach Wilson was in the breakout room. Myself and Miss Dawes and Miss Pineda. And one of the things that we're really trying to do as a BSU organization is to always keep the visibility up, right? We're really promoting or pushing the district to formally adopt. It's kind of an informal situation where we have the first Wednesday as HBCU College Day, but we're really trying to get the district to formally proclaim, you know, and pronounce that every first Wednesday of the month, not just February, but every first Wednesday of the month is HBCU T-shirt day, and you increase the signage and the visibility of the schools. We made a concerted effort within Antelope Valley's Career Center to invest in pennants and literature, regalia, and different things. So, you know, you got them on the walls, you got them in the classrooms, and they just kind of see the different schools around the campus that sparks a little bit of interest. And so that's a kind of a place where we can start to just kind of raise it. We can control what's in our rooms and what's on the walls and some of the things like that. And so that just may be able to spark some interest among the young people and amongst our allies. We have far more non-African American people walking around with FAMU shirts and Hampton and all this other kind of stuff, and it just warms my heart. And we actually challenge them to don't just get Morehouse, don't just get Howard. Go deep, get some Miles and Talladega, and some of these other places, Cheney, so they can really kind of understand the true history of HBCUs and be able to kind of move that forward a little bit.
And whether we realize it or not, HBC. Oh, Ron, go ahead. You were ready to talk.
Well, I just want to say one thing that I haven't really heard that I think a lot of the kids need to be exposed to is costs for school, for tuition. And when you start telling these kids about all these HBCUs, it's going to come down to cost whenever they do get accepted to a college. A lot of the kids want to go to, they want to stay local and go to Cal State Bakersfield or Dominguez Hills or wherever, or UCLA or SC, and it's costing, $80,000 a year to go to SC. Whereas a lot of the HBCUs, on average, probably less than $25,000 for most of them. And that's everything. That's the entire year. So when it does come to cost, and like I think I was telling someone earlier, is the scholarship opportunity is very likely for a lot of the kids out here because the standards are lower than it is out here. Getting accepted into one of your PWIs out this way is, you're going to need a 4.2 or 4.4 and all these crazy numbers to get scholarship money, to even get accepted into their school. And then you already got to know your major and apply to that and got to get accepted. Whereas, a lot of the HBCUs, you may even get an academic scholarship with a 3.0. And a lot of our kids can have that, and I've seen it where it's like a 2.8, and it's only cost $15,000 a year to go there.
And it's not that the standards, it's not that the education you receive is less. It's just the HBCUs understand.
Right, exactly.
And they're flexible with the requirements to come in.
Correct.
They're geared towards serving our students, our African American community. So it's not that the education, just because you didn't have to have the A through G's to get in, you're still getting that quality of education.
And a lot of the A through G's are for Cal.
Yeah, University. The Cal States. And the HBCUs
I don't think a lot
don't
of the
have the
kids
Cal
know
State.
that. They don't. Yeah. They're not told that. All they're told is A through G, A through G. And the kids don't know that's just for, I think, the UCs or the Cal States, one or the other, not anything out of state.
Out of state still has those standards. They just don't call them A through G.
But
our HBCUs will work with you if you don't have all of those requirements. For example, when I went to college, I had a deficit in math. So what they did was they accepted me, but they made me take a 0 level class where I wouldn't get credit for it, but it was getting my math skills up to where they needed to be. So they do things like that. They just don't say, no, you don't have that third year math, you can't come. They're saying, okay, you don't have that third year math, but we're going to give you this class right here to get your skills up before you start the college level math. So that's what they do.
I'm sorry, if I could just jump in real quick. We just want to have a couple of minutes to touch base with our seniors. So if there are any seniors on the call, I did put a link to it's another meet. If you can just jump over. I'm about to drop off of this call. I'm not sure if the link is going to stay on once I leave. So I'm going to put it one more time. So if you are senior, Mr. Patterson and I are just going to touch base with you real quick. All right, thank you.
Is Miss Pineda on here? Are we still needed on here?
Thank you and bye.
Oh, thank you. If we could please all unmute and just thank our guests, thank our esteemed speakers, the Divine Nine AV chapter, HBCUs represented on the call. Thank you.
And advisors and students, if you would like to have members of the Divine Nine visit your BSU meetings or visit you on campus or whatever, please reach out to me and I can help you get that set up.
Okay, thank you,
Okay.
everyone. Students, we will see you at the Black College Expo. Thank you so much, Mrs. White. Thank you. You all have a
You're
blessed
welcome.
evening.